Good morning, world. This is the Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and today is Friday, November 21, 2025. In this area of the U.S., Lexington, Kentucky, on the East Coast, the weather today will have a high of 60 degrees. Currently, it is raining, and the temperature is sitting at 52. Cloudy with rain, highs in the low 60s and lows in the low 50s. Thanksgiving travel forecast. Could weather delay your trip? Again, rain ends by 9 a.m. and more possible later. Less than a quarter inch is predicted. Texas flood watches continue into Friday morning. And in this area, expect Sunday to be next sunny day. Temperatures a little higher than yesterday, up by 6 degrees. Currently, for outdoor activities, running is poor. Cycling is poor, and gardening is poor. The AQI is good at 49. The UV index is low. And with the rain falling, the wind is at 1 mile per hour, considered to be calm. It is currently 7:18 a.m. here on the East Coast, and sunrise will be at 7:25 a.m. Sunset at 5:21 p.m. The Weather Channel presented a little small video, since we're heading into the holiday next week, Thursday as a matter of fact. That end of the year turkey meal being what it is. And although the celebration is here in the United States for the Thanksgiving holiday, one of the holidays celebrated throughout the year, depending on where you grew up, would have something to do with the sides that go along with that meal. So, the top 5 sides for America's Thanksgiving meal, at number 5 is green bean casserole. And number 4, mac and cheese. Number 3, sweet potatoes. Number 2, mashed potatoes. And number 1, all-time favorite, stuffing or dressing. So whatever your holiday meal plans are, enjoy. Students will be on fall break. A couple of things that caught my interest, just scrolling through the media and various articles and news items. Amongst the many things that President Trump has said or promised or spoken about, one of those things is a $2,000 tariff rebate check. So I just wanted to deal with that for a minute or two. And as things are, there was an article published 3 days ago from Fortune magazine. Odds of President Trump paying out $2,000 tariff rebate checks now sit at just 2%. So I guess there are some bookies or odds makers that took on the subject. So I will share the article with you as follows. If the White House handing out $2,000 checks to all U.S. citizens sounded too good to be true, it just might be. At least that's now the sentiment among bettors. Earlier this month, President Trump made an official promise of a dividend payable to all Americans. Posting on Truth Social, the social media platform he owns, The president wrote the tariff proponents were fools and added, record investment in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. He continued, a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Since then, excitement around the project has dimmed. According to speculators betting on the odds market site Kalshi, there's now just a 2% chance that Americans will receive such a check anytime soon. These odds have dropped considerably from the week following Trump's announcement, when the market priced a more than 13% likelihood of the rebates being paid out. Indeed, the odds trackers isn't even assuming the promise of a $2,000 check is based on the odds of 1 million Americans being given notice of a $1,000 check and the verified details being reported, not the payouts completed by January 1. Over at Polymarket, the crypto-based probability trading platform, the odds of Americans receiving a check before December 31 have fallen to just 1%, down from 50% on November 15th. In the days since President Trump made the pledge, members of his cabinet have poured cold water on the plans. On ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos on November 9, shortly after the post from Trump, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent admitted he hadn't yet talked to the president about the dividend plan, adding it would require Congress to pass legislation. Bessent also attempted to unpick the form the tariff stimulus would take, perhaps not a check, but a relief already signed into law. The $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, which to my understanding has always been that way, deductibility of auto loans. Those are substantial deductions that are being financed in the tax bill. Doing the math, Bessent's caution may be justified, as the president has also stated that some tariff revenue will also go toward paying down America's enormous $38 trillion national debt burden. While tariffs are bringing in a significant sum, approximately $30 billion a month by September 2025, that revenue is minor compared even to the interest the U.S. government is paying to service its debt. Treasury data shows the interest paid on national debt for fiscal year 2025 is $1.22 trillion and rising every year. If President Trump's tariff collection continues to rake in $30 billion a month and $360 billion a year, this still amounts to a little over a third of the interest payments on the debt. It doesn't touch the debt itself. Trump's $2,000 plan is also eye-wateringly costly. If the government were to pay each household as opposed to each individual and the bottom 50% of earners, that would still require payouts to more than 67.5 million homes, per data from the St. Louis Fed. That would imply that $135 billion, nearly half of the tariff revenues, would immediately be paid out to citizens instead of being directed toward national debt. Excuse me. Yet despite further caveats from Bessent in the past few days, Trump doubled down on the plan yesterday. We're going to be issuing dividends later on, somewhere prior to probably the middle of next year, a little bit later than that. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office, according to Axios. The payments, he said, would go to individuals of moderate income and middle income. So like I said, this was featured 3 days ago in Fortune magazine. So I just thought I would share that with you. So many large corporations have been told either by the court or upon discovery, voluntarily stepped forward to return monies to customers and clients, etc., that I'm still of the opinion, which has served me well in years gone by. I believe it when I see it. But in this case, when I have it in my hand. And my reasoning is this: we're a couple of months away from tax season 2026 for the year 2025. We just got a COLA increase, 2.8%, I think. So the timing is a little bit right in the middle of everything else that's happening, as this article has pointed out. So we'll see what we will see. The next thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, and this is more related to how we progressed, excuse me, in technology and in other areas. And I kind of related to the idea that, when speaking of AI in particular, I'm able to wrap my mind around it because I imagine Henry Ford, for instance, with his vision of the Model T, when it was just a thought in his mind, and how that idea of a engine-driven vehicle has extrapolated through the years to what we have now. Tesla producing autonomous driving vehicles that drive themselves. So you can't say rule it out, but in that discussion of AI was also included a conversation about what was called basic universal income, where a portion or a majority, a portion at least, of the population would not be working. And they could find other ways to occupy their time, so to speak. So this article by Bill Gates says these 3 jobs will be the only ones to survive the rise of artificial intelligence. And as in the case with most things, it's a two-headed coin. You have its pros for AI and your cons against AI. But I liked the presentation or the way that he made his points about it. So this is from 2 days ago, from Money Made. So here we go. Bill Gates says these 3 jobs will be the only ones who survive the rise of artificial intelligence. AI is already rewriting the rules of work. Entire industries are being reshaped faster than anyone expected. Yet Bill Gates says 3 kinds of jobs will still matter even as AI grows smarter. Fields he believes rely on uniquely human creativity, judgment, and curiosity. The world of work is shifting. Gates has said AI will change every job, but he sees adaptation rather than extinction. He told Axios in 2025 that people who understand how AI works will be better prepared. And I also attached to this, excuse me, to this reasoning, recently the president upped the cost of the H-1B visa for skilled workers from other countries to come here and work. So that in itself says that there is a need for skilled people to do certain things. Okay, the article continues. Knowing the innards of the AI helps you understand why it's so crazy smart sometimes and so crazy stupid other times. Adaptation, not panic. Rather than predicting mass unemployment, Gates frames the coming shift as a partnership between humans and machines. He compared it to earlier tech revolutions. We're entering an age where AI will be as fundamental as the PC or the internet, he told interviewers this spring. Safe job number 1, coders. At first glance, AI threatens coding itself. It can already write entire programs. But Gates says humans who code will still be essential. It's kind of like saying, should you learn to multiply just because computers are really good at it, he told Axios. The skill still teaches logic and creativity. The human side of programming. AI can generate lines of code, but people still need to define goals, design architecture, and decide what ethical limits to build in. Coders who combine technical skill with systems thinking will steer the next generation of AI tools instead of being replaced by them. Excuse me, folks, tickling in my throat related to allergies. What coding jobs are at risk? Repetitive work, basic website scripts, or bug fixing will likely shrink. But engineers who think broadly and creatively will remain vital. As Gates put it, learning to code isn't about syntax anymore. It's about understanding what software can do. Those who grasp that big picture will endure. Safe job number 2, energy experts. Gates has spent decades investing in clean energy innovation through breakthrough energy ventures. He's argued that energy is too complex and globally interwoven to be fully automated. Real-world energy systems depend on human judgment, policy decisions, and ethics, areas where machines can only assist. Why energy work will survive. AI can model power grids and forecast demand, but it can't weigh political trade-offs or climate consequences. Gates has noted that achieving net zero emissions will require deep collaboration between technologists and policymakers. Human insight will still drive which innovations get built and how they are used. The human element in power. When speaking about energy transitions, Gates often emphasizes coordination over pure computation. Data may guide strategy, but leadership decides which risks to take. Energy jobs tied to strategy, design, and climate analysis remain central as the world balances progress with sustainability. Future energy careers. Fields combining engineering, data, and environmental science, like grid planning or nuclear safety, will thrive. AI may handle simulations, yet humans will interpret them, balancing cost, safety, and social impact. In Gates' view, solving climate challenges is ultimately a human mission. Safe job number 3, biologist. The third field Gates highlights is biology. He believes AI will accelerate breakthroughs in genetics and medicine, but not replace human researchers. AI will help us understand biology far faster, he said, but people still have to ask the right questions. Why biology still needs humans? Biology thrives on curiosity and experimentation, traits machines lack. AI can find patterns in protein data, but it struggles with unexpected results or ethical calls. Human researchers decide which paths to follow, when to challenge data, and how to interpret what the numbers miss. How AI is changing the lab. Gates points to areas like drug discovery and vaccine design, where AI speeds up data analysis. Yet every advance in these areas does still require human oversight. Scientists must confirm results in the real world, translating predictions into safe working treatments, a process that is still one that only humans can do. The human edge in science. Science isn't just about data, it's about imagination. Gates told a university audience in 2024, AI may supply the patterns, but humans supply the purpose. Researchers who fuse computational skills with creative thinking will lead the next wave of discovery. What future biologists should learn? Biologists who understand both molecules and machine learning will be the most valuable. Gates sees a future generation of scientists who use AI as a microscope, one that allows them to see deeper and faster, but while still relying on humans to decide what's actually worth exploring. What this means for everyone. Even if you're not in tech, energy, or biology, Gates' advice applies. Use AI to enhance what you do, not replace it. The safest roles will involve empathy, strategy, and big picture thinking, qualities that remain uniquely human. A shorter work week ahead. Gates told The Tonight Show that AI could one day make most physical work obsolete. There will be some things we reserve for ourselves, but in terms of making things and growing food, those will be solved problems. He also floated the idea of a future 3-day work week. Skills that cross every field. No matter your job, some abilities stay valuable. Systems thinking, communication, ethics, and curiosity. Gates says curiosity in particular is the one thing AI doesn't replace. It amplifies. Those who keep learning alongside new tools will stay relevant the longest. AI augmented versus AI replaced. The difference between thriving and fading out will come down to how people use AI. Those who see it as a collaborator will adapt faster. Gates often described AI as a co-pilot, not a rival, a tool that expands what skilled people can do. New hybrid jobs. Already roles like AI ethicists and algorithm auditors are emerging. Gates predicts more of these blended careers, jobs that connect human judgment to machine power. These hybrids will define the next labor revolution. The takeaway, the 3 safe jobs, coders, energy experts, and biologists, aren't really safe because they're high tech. They're safe because they rely on human thinking. Gates' message is simple. Technology may reshape work, but it won't replace the human need to question, create, and decide. So, like I said, I thought I would share that updated thinking related to AI and what's in the future. How long forward, we still don't have a timeline. But as we have seen in the past, we do move forward. For some odd reason today, the headlines portion of the news kept jumping and refreshing, so I really couldn't decide what was going on with that. But the top stories, yes, I do have those. Former GOP aide paid body modification artist to brutally mutilate her, then said it was all a hoax. So there was a photograph of this woman tied up in the wood in a wooded area, hands behind her back, laying on the ground. And come to find out, it was a hoax. Number 2 in top stories, Trump administration may use federal agencies to fight state-level AI regulation. Number 3, Retreats on tariffs have already wiped out $800 billion of expected deficit reduction, CBO estimates, Congressional Budget Office. USA Rare Earth CEO describes Manhattan Project to wean U.S. from dependence on China. Fuji's rapper Pras Michael gets 14-year sentence over illegal donations to Obama campaign. Okay. Amazon issuing Prime refunds after after $2.5 billion settlement. Here's what to know. Again, all due respect to Prime, to Amazon and Prime, but when I have it in my hand, the CDC changed wording on its website. Public health experts are furious. And number 8, Trump's new peace plan unsettles Ukraine at a moment of maximum weakness. And number 9 in the top stories, Kevin Spacey says, I literally have no home, is working as nightclub singer in Cyprus. As oddly as this may hit, you have to remember California has been subject to enormous amounts of wildfires, destroying homes and property. So this probably fits in closer than more oddly the way it sounds out of context. And number 10, did Trump call a reporter a piggy? White House says he's very frank. So, world, that's where we are here in the United States of America on Friday, November 21, 2025. This is The Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. That's it. Hashtag